Good morning. I wanted to start here at the back of the garage because I didn't want to forget to say that we have ordered our wood for the greenhouse. I'm so excited. We are building a timber frame greenhouse and we're hoping to start it as soon as we can. As soon as we can get some helical piles here, then we'll be starting the build. Welcome. If you've never seen my garden before, it usually doesn't look this bare. But we are in zone 5 in East Coast Canada, and we're going to look into the seeds that Bill and I had pulled out of this garden in the end of the season last year. I'll talk about the experience that I had with those particular plants, flowers, herbs. Our first stop in my garden is at the Delphiniums. The bed that we're at right now is our bed that had delphiniums, and in back here we had we had our self-seeding tomatillos back here. They were very successful, as were the delphiniums. The delphiniums are perennial. These will come up again and again every year till forever. I'm going to actually split these delphiniums up and bring half of them to the camp so that there's free plants there. So the delphinium grows on a spike like this up high, and it grows little bells, little blue bells off them. They're very transparent, delicate, I guess you would say, maybe. And they grow in a spike here, and this one was shades of blue. And when you harvest the seeds, you're just going to harvest them right out of this flower here. We had very little seeds from delphinium this year because I wasn't paying attention to it, because I was just thinking that I was going to have perennials that I could transplant to somewhere else. But now that I've seen them grow, I want to be able to give my friends some of these as well. So I'm going to put them as seeds in the grow room. And we have not started our gardens yet. I do have a couple of brassicas that can handle a little bit of the colder temperatures in the garden right now. I have some kale from last year, and I also had planted some seeds. But let me show you the kale. Look how absolutely beautiful. Oh, imagine that. Beginning of April, being able to harvest red Russian kale from the garden. That's pretty neat. This is the first year that's ever happened to us. So I'm pretty proud of that. So I love that thing. We're actually putting 2 more of those in the garden over the next 2 seasons, so 1 per season. We make our beds in the most recent years all the same size, so that if we have one of these that we need different types of material over top, like this one has 3 layers right now. The top layer is poly, the second layer down is frost cloth, and the third layer after that, which is the first layer on the tunnel, and the only layer that we can't remove is the insect fabric. The bugs love kale, but underneath the insect fabric, the bugs can't get at them, so it's wonderful. Because this has been here all winter, it looks like that frost fabric does not like that at all. So I don't think we'll do that again. I'm gonna go take this kale inside. I guess Murphy wants to come too. I'm not ashamed of my notes. There's actually 2 types of poppies. Last year we had this one right here is called the Icelandic, and then we also had one in the old curb bed just come up on its own, a fluffy pink poppy. It was absolutely beautiful. I'll certainly put some pictures up here of it, because I would love to know if you guys know what this poppy is called. Right now I am labeled everything fluffy pink poppy. But it was absolutely gorgeous. So I did pull seeds from that, and I did pull seeds from the Icelandic, and actually the Icelandic poppies have showing their sprouts in the winter sowing bins, which is super exciting. Up next is actually our coneflowers, but it's kind of a funny story. I don't know where they are right now because originally we had them in this bed right behind us, but because we are putting a laneway through here to the high tunnel, future high tunnel, sorry, I got myself excited there for a second, but future high tunnel, we relocated these coneflowers, and I don't remember where I put them, so I guess once they start growing, I'll let you know. But either way, these were Ruby Star, big fan. I have been told that these are a medicinal herb, but I haven't looked it up, so I find it interesting that it is. It's absolutely beautiful. The pollinators love them. They're very strong and sturdy. I think they're pretty awesome. Let's move on to the sunflowers. This is our last year's sunflower patch. We did this sunflower patch last year, and I couldn't have been any more happy with the results of this. I am 100% doing it again this year in this exact same spot. So we had sunflowers and pumpkins growing in this bed right here, and I did nothing with them all summer. Did absolutely nothing with them. I watered them when we planted the seeds for the sunflowers and for the pumpkins. They were Connecticut field pumpkins, and the sunflowers were various types of sunflowers. I think I put like 7 different types of sunflowers in here, but the ones that I have the seeds from are they're a single stem. They grow about 48 inches tall, and I really like those ones. So I also wanted to leave a lot of the tops for the birds around here. They absolutely love the tops of them and the squirrels. I also picked one off of the autumn one as well, so I'm going to have sunflower seeds for that. And this year, Bill went to the store and grabbed, I think, 6 or 7 different types of sunflowers. So that's what's going to be going in here this year. This is the end of our long tomato bed. And this is where our calendula has grown probably for the last 5 or 6 years. This was our first raised bed that we put into the garden. And this was where we planted our own seeds for calendula. Now, this plant is not supposed to be an annual in our zone. The first year we had it, we had a very mild winter and it came back. So since then, I've just taken some straw and I've covered it up. I've now uncovered it because I want them to get some light. But more than likely, if it happens like it has happened in the past, there'll be calendula here. Now, calendula is a yellow flower. They grow on a stem and they can grow multiple flowers per stem, and the flower on them is, I don't know, anywhere between 1 and 1.5 inches around, and it's a flat sort of flower. These plants are awesome for pest deterrents. If honestly, any flower in your garden is going to help with the pests and help with the beneficial bugs in your garden. So I would say all of the ones that I've shown you today, as far as flowers, they're excellent for pest deterrents. It could be a trap crop like this one here, where we keep the aphids off of our peppers in order to keep our peppers going well, but we sacrifice the calendula, or we do the same thing with the nasturtiums. I think actually nasturtiums are up on the list, so let's go see those. Before I talk about the nasturtiums, I'm going to talk about our onion seeds. Now, this doesn't necessarily fit into the category. This is more of a bonus item, I think. We were not expecting to be able to harvest onion seeds. Typically, those happen the second year the plant is in the ground or the plant has come from that bulb. This plant has a tall growth habit. They're very strong, and the flower on top is like a globe of all these little tiny white flowers. It's absolutely stunning. These came out of bulbs that we had planted 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I put sets in here, and I had purchased a set with a 3-pack. So it had either Spanish onion, red onion, or white onion. So these could be any three of those. I have a suspicion they're not the red onion because Bill had pulled the bulbs out and they're not red. They're like sort of like a white creamy color. So that's exciting and I can't wait to see what that looks like next year. This plant is about 32 inches high, and I think because of that, it sticks up over top of the perennials around here. The bees love these flowers. That bush was buzzing all summer. It was absolutely amazing, and we do have some random bulbs around the garden, and Bill had suggested the other day to let them bloom, and I think that's a great idea, so we're going to try to do that as long as I can remember not to pull them out. So let's go over to the nasturtiums now. Nasturtiums are not only gorgeous, edible, the birds love them, but they make a wonderful, wonderful pest deterrent. The reason why these are in our garden is because it protects the plants from the aphids. The aphids love something about the nasturtiums. I plant them in between squash, around my peppers, around my tomatoes, around the eggplant, just because they're gorgeous. Now, we have two types here. We have the vining one and just the bush one here. I mix all the seeds together, so I don't really know what we're going to get. But I encourage you 100%, even if you have nothing at home, to put in some nasturtiums. They are great in pots as well because they, especially if you get the vining ones, they trail down the outside of the pots. They're absolutely beautiful. Let's go check out the marigolds. I'm going to tell you in a second why this plant has something extra special. These are 3 marigold plants that we just pulled out of here. 1, 2, 3. If we had brought these in, we could have saved all the seeds from the flowers here, but now these are frozen, so they need to just go in the compost. So in our garden this year, we planted 3 types of marigolds. One was French, one was Mexican, and one was, I'll put the name here, I can't remember the name. So during the wet summer, what is the animal that comes out into the garden? The slugs. The slugs are my number 1 nemesis in my garden. And there's an easy solution to this. The marigolds. They smell very strong, apparently, and the slugs just love them. And I plant these mostly around my tomatoes. The slugs love the tomatoes, and I do not want any slugs touching them. So I usually plant 1 tomato plant per marigold plant. Now, last year we put in a couple different kinds and there was a few that were very tall. I won't put those in the garden again. I'll put those over into the flower bed, but I do really like this type. The reason I'm having a hard time remembering the name of them is because we call them Debbies, because we did get the first, oh, the wind. We did get the first set of seeds from my friend Debbie, so that's why we call them Debbies. So we have the Debbies, the French, and the Mexican. The next plant that we're going to talk about is the zinnias. Oh, they were just so beautiful. These zinnias came up on their own, and I think they're called double raspberry because they were very low to the ground and they kind of spread out very quickly. I just absolutely love them, so I did grab some seeds from those. It's over there in the perennial bed that they shot up, and they also shot up in this bed right in front where I was talking about the cone flowers. So I'm definitely going to be putting those in the perennial bed next year as well. I don't know how they're beneficial to the garden just yet because they just showed up last year and I really haven't had enough time to study them like I have the rest of them. Oh, we're going to bring you to a whole new section of our garden, and it's where our original perennial bed is in the smack dab center. So this is our perennial bed here. We have some phlox here. We have some thyme growing here that comes back every year. And we have a speedwell here that's like a pink spike. And oh yes, we also have this burgundy ground crawler here, which I absolutely find stunning. But right here is where we have the garlic chives. I've cut them down so that they're ready. When they're ready to come up, they'll start popping up. Actually, I'm seeing them right now. So that's starting to come up already. That's great news. The growth habit of these garlic onions it's identical to the onions I showed you earlier. It has like a long stem, a long hard stem, and a globe flower on the top that's white. This one's a little bit more open than the other one. It's a little bit more pointy on the edges for the seed. For the flowers, individual flowers, but another one that the bees just absolutely go crazy for. Really, next year I plan on actually harvesting these as it goes and drying them and making some garlic chive powder. But I'm still gonna let them go up a second time and get more seeds from them. I would like to actually sprinkle these at the camp in abundance because there's nothing negative having them there. So that's my plan for the garlic chives. Trying to remember what's next. Let's go take a look, whatever it is. This is where the dill was planted. Actually, funny enough, I actually planted some seeds in here the other day when I accidentally dropped the dill on the floor. Not exactly what I wanted to happen, but it happened. I have a lot of seeds here. I don't need to worry about keeping them all. They could be covered in dirt and they would still be fine to put in the garden. I wouldn't eat these now. Actually, I wouldn't eat them before, so. I'm gonna go throw those in the garden. I had to go get some water. Pretty chilly out here today. I'm not 100% sure of the temperatures, but I know last night and this morning the winds are insane. The wind temperatures, it is a brisk wind, and it is finally starting to warm up a little bit. It's about 1 o'clock right now. It has been a busy couple of weeks with the grow room. It's starting to fill up in there, and I can't wait. Today, we're going to be transplanting all those tomato plants that we planted in the 1-inch cells. Most of them have 2 in them. We probably have about 175 tomato plants. So we are going to have to make some choices here on keeping a certain amount of those and potentially selling some of those. These are organically grown and produced without any pesticides or anything like that. I mean, no better way, right? If you can, might as well. And yeah, back in the day, we used to use some stuff, and it turns out that if you work on your soil and you let the bugs do their job, you might sacrifice some of your food, but for the beneficials and for the pests, that's worth it to me. And we have a lot of tricks that we can use, like our trap crops. Let's talk about our next trap crop, which is dill. One of the major things that grow and come to the dill is our swallowtail caterpillars. We love watching them. We haven't been able to catch one that stayed alive long enough to put a chrysalis around in the garden, but I'm sure they're doing it somewhere else. Also, they like anything that's in like the carrot family, so that's why the dill is one of their faves. Dill is also awesome because you can not only use it as a fresh component, you can also use it as a dried component, and also you can pull the seeds off and eat. They're edible as well, or you could replant them in future years, or you could replant them in a pot in your windowsill. So they're very versatile, and everybody that has any sort of garden should be growing dill. Even if you don't like it, my recommendation is to get yourself some dill. So this next one here that I'm about to show you that actually came up all on its own. I didn't have a clue what it was. I just left it in the garden because I thought that the leaves on it were very pretty. It's growing right beside our dill right now, which is pretty cool. Now this plant has a lot to offer. As I've read up on it, I have yet to use it for any of its medicinal benefits. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know if I'm scared. I don't know exactly a whole bunch about it. Another one that I would love some comments about, but I would say that this is the coolest thing by far that has grown in my garden. I've done some more research on this plant that has just started in our garden. We really liked the foliage of it. And then later it started growing these flowers. So I did a little research, and this plant right here is called, is called Heal All. It's a medicinal plant that people have been using since the late 1800s. I really don't know much about it, but I do know that you can use it both fresh with the flowers coming out, which is what I'm harvesting today. And you can also dehydrate this. They say that the best way to dehydrate it is just in the room. Don't use a dehydrator. So I'm going to use it fresh, but later I'll come out and I'll pick some for the dehydrator. We harvest seeds out of our garden because we want to. And we do it in such a way that's fun and not stressful, not anything that we need to worry about if we don't. It's just fun overall. So stay grounded. See you next week. Bye.